that sweater, Teresa. It's so pretty. Will you tell us again what the name of it is?
Oh gosh. I think it's Orbits.
That
Um,
sounds right.
yeah, it was one of my finish along projects.
Awesome. So great. So here we are knitting our socks. Welcome to week 3, right, of Socktober.
Yep.
How's it coming for everybody?
I finished the one I was working on.
Ooh, let me spotlight you. I keep holding it up there for us for a minute while I spotlight you. Oh, look at you
Hey.
go.
So I
Nice.
have this one, it was the second one, so I have a pair. And I started another. I have the Seven Sisters, the Camden Hills color that I'm working on.
Nice.
So
Oh, hold that up again, that little bitty one.
I don't know.
Oh,
It's
right
got really
here.
pretty shades of blue through it.
Yeah. Oh,
And I wanted to share this. I had a debate on, and my lighting is really poor. This is Cece's wool. It's Northern Lights. It's a fingering, and it's 88% superwash merino, 12% nylon. But Cece is going to have a booth at the Rhinebeck in Rhinebeck. She has it's all personal hand dyed by the owner and stuff. So just wanted to
amazing.
share that.
What's the vendor's name?
See, it's called CCCECE apostrophe S.
Okay.
Making a note.
So one kind of fun thing is originally Kristen was supposed to come with me to Rhinebeck, and unfortunately she had a family thing come up and she really couldn't go. So she's disappointed. I'm gonna still get to go, and I'm gonna be staying with um, Alice Dunn Smith, the Scudic Bay designer and designer of many
Oh,
other things, who's a friend of ours, and Whitney Terrell, who she may have seen this as part of our raffle around our anniversary, the lobster hat and
uh-huh.
cowl set. And she designed a beautiful lobster sweater too. And so we're going to be at an Airbnb together. And it's my first time, but what I did yesterday at work was I grabbed a handful of some of our goat stickers and our remote goat stickers. So if I happen to see any of you remote goats that in the throngs of thousands of people and we manage to see each other, I could have a sticker for you, hopefully.
Yay.
I'm taking my Cashmere Goat canvas bag that I just got to put my stuff in when so I'll have that over my shoulder.
I'm going to be wearing mine too, so maybe that should be our little calling card.
Now, is that in Rhinebeck, New York, you said?
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Nice.
Have you ever done that before, Iris? Oh, that's great.
I have
Oh,
not. I'm trying to discourage my dog from taking the most annoying loud toys. This is the favorite one, but we're gonna keep that up on the table right now. Well, congratulations, Gwen. Happy to see a finished sock and on to the next. You've got a pair, beautiful.
thanks.
I was just thinking yesterday I was helping a very new sock knitter, and she's a knitter from a long time ago, and she's getting back into it. And it was really fun to work with her. And we were right at the part, she's doing a top down, and we were right at the part where she was picking up those stitches along the gusset, which, as you may remember from your very first sock, it can be daunting, it can be challenging, it can be very weird to try to even understand what are you doing.
Agree.
So it was kind of interesting to be back with the beginner mindset
Yeah,
again.
I got it on.
And it reminded me that, and she really loved this, and it's just something that I learned more recently, but I'm late to the party, but I love using those little you know, like the Susan Bates handy tool or a tiny little crochet hook is just so helpful when you're picking up and knitting stitches. It's like my preferred method, my favorite now, you know, it just makes it so much easier. Anybody else have any tips for that tricky little bit of the sock if you're a top-down knitter?
I actually got to that part and I've done socks and I sat there and I went, wait a minute, what am I doing? Let me think about this again.
It is. It's a funny bit, and the other part that's a funny bit and that she was really thrown off by was the you know, when you start to actually turn the heel. And you know, when you read that the first time in a pattern, you're turning, you know, turn the heel as follows. Like, what does that even mean? You know, but you actually have to start making that angle happen. And she was like, I didn't know what was going on and how it was all going to work. And I remember the confusion.
Yep.
I remember the first time I was doing something and it had a yarn over, and I was just like, that doesn't make any sense. What are they talking about? I don't understand that. Like, sat there and just like, again, I didn't have video at that time. It was out of a book. So it was, you know, like a little like, wait, what? Who? So I figured it out.
Well, and then you
Actually,
probably
you
looked
have
at it and you probably looked at it and thought, well, this made a hole. Now I have to fix this hole.
Right. That and knit front and back. That was another good one. I was like, what? What are you talking about? How can you do that? Well,
Anybody else have a particularly juicy little tip they want to share? Or sorry, I cut somebody off.
I was just going to say my socks haven't gotten the love that they deserve, but it's a 2-hour ride up to Rhinebeck. So I think I'll be working on them. Then instead, what I decided to do, given the weather, is I'm making boot toppers.
Nice.
I got one done. I'm working on the second. I definitely think the boots are going to need a topper to keep the water out of them. It's kind of a sock.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I think it counts.
Right?
I mean, leg warmers, boot toppers. Yeah, for sure.
Everything but the part that we all hate, right? Making the heel, making the toe.
There
Well,
you go.
if you're going on Sunday, it's not supposed to rain on Sunday.
Yeah.
I did see that.
I'm going with a group from a yarn store in South Orange, which is the next town. So
Oh, okay.
can't hold anything that doesn't say their store.
Right.
Got it.
They have a cute
Well,
little-
I'll look for orange. I'll try to keep my eye out for orange. Is it an orange bag or it's just like
It is a
name?
little canvas bag, and the name of the shop is the local yarn shop.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. So it's
Love
just
it.
cute little canvas bag.
Nice.
Be one of many I'm sure I'll have that day.
Now,
Mhm.
what is this called in Rhinebeck? I'm just, you know, like,
New York Sheep and Wool Festival.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. And is it always this time of year?
Yes. Yep.
Yes. And it's the first year out of 7 when I've wanted to go that I actually don't have anything this weekend. I as soon as I found out the date, I put it in my calendar. I said, I'm not doing anything else that weekend, but I am going to Rhinebeck. That's it.
Very cool. Well, let's see some sock progress. Anybody feel like sharing their sock progress with us today? We've had Gwen, our finisher and beginner.
I
Right.
got mine blocked from last week. The
Awesome.
Stephen West.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, very
So
nice.
great. So
Those are
great.
Great.
Those are cool.
And they fit.
Keep holding them up there for me for 1 second. I'm gonna just take a little screenshot for us.
Right.
Can you get the heel?
Yeah.
The gorgeous heel,
Perfect.
yeah.
Just love it. Love, love, love it. Thanks, Eileen. Congrats.
And I have my shawl or my sweater cardigan that we finished last week that I just blocked.
Yeah.
I had to wear that.
Look at that. That's so beautiful. What a nice Scudic Bay. I love seeing that. It's a gorgeous color on you. Anybody else have any sock progress reports? Oh, looks like Jill is.
Yeah, this one will be done in no time. And they're fun. They're the Yarny and Carlos socks that they did with Regia.
Yes.
And they just kind of look like you're doing a lot of color work, but you're not. You're just doing this.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
we carry
Miracle of
that in the.
Miracle,
Go
they're
ahead.
supposed to have a yellow piece of yarn in between the two sock halves, but they didn't on this one. And so I thought, let's see, the first 3 stripes match, maybe number 4. Let's go for it and see what happens. They match. I couldn't believe it. They really match pretty well.
That's
Nice.
wild.
And that was just good luck. I just won it, as they say. So anyway, thanks for getting me going on socks. Did you get a chance, Iris, to look at my newsletter?
I just did, yes.
You inspired a bunch of articles. I added to, I said, basically I gave your shop a plug, of course, with
So
your
nice.
Socktober. I was hoping that more people would join, but I did a Christmas stocking because I found a couple of free patterns that were good. They're socks, big ones. And maybe you might want to do a knit along with Christmas stockings. But another thing that I found was Cast On had a really great article on heels of socks, and I put a link into the newsletter with a really good YouTube by the same author on different kinds of heels. There's so many kinds, and it's a really very good YouTube tutorial. And she's also got one on all the many kinds of toes that you could put into socks. And she rounded up about 8 or 10 of them and did this YouTube. So if anybody's interested, it's a really, really good YouTube.
And it's in your newsletter because there's
look toward the back.
Okay, yep, I will do that. I didn't make it all the way through because I was eating it with my lunch today.
And while you're at it, toward the back is a little thing about a wonderful woman who lives somewhere in Maine. And if anybody knows who she is or where she is, 104 years old. She's been knitting for more than 100 years.
Wow.
And this was an interview with her sitting around with all of her buddies of all ages, young, old, in her living room. She's a real Mainer. She must be from down east, judging from her accent. And they were just having a good old time knitting. And she was really quite a character. She won a snowshoe race at the age of 100.
Oh my gosh.
And there's a picture of her sitting on a motorcycle. And she just wants to get the most she can out of life. It's as simple as that. So anyway, if anybody's interested, send me your email in the chat, and I'll put you on my newsletter list.
I love that.
I can't really type in all those links. A lot of them are too long. I'll make mistakes.
Yep. Well, I didn't make it all the way through the newsletter, but I can definitely speak to the fact that Jill puts together a really sweet, informative. There's just all sorts of little tidbits. This particular one that I was reading with lunch, whole part about tin can knits and how fabulous they are, and Shetland Wool Week.
Oh yeah, for the fitting of necklines on yoke sweaters, because a lot of yoke sweaters, the newer designs, all have pretty low necks, and I don't like those. I want a higher neck. Only by the time you think of that, you've started at the top and you're knitting down. And so this article, this tutorial Tin Can Knits put together was fabulous. So I grabbed my favorite tips. I should tell you, the newsletter is very personal. It's whatever my knitting buddies tell me about and whatever I like and whatever I read. And just if I'm reading something and I say, wow, I've got to share this, I found I was writing too many emails to people individually. So I started doing this, and it kind of has caught on. I'm not up to 100 people yet, but I'm getting awfully close. And one thing that has thrilled me is people have started passing it on to their friends. And one went to someone who is in sort of extreme assisted living. This woman can't knit. Her hands don't work anymore. And so she broke my heart. She dictated a reply to my email telling me, I said, who are you? How did you find this? Tell me about your knitting. Tell me about your spinning. And she wrote this long letter. She did a lot of knitting, a lot of spinning, a lot of design, and raised sheep for years, and had a lot of friends who did the same thing. And she told me all about it. But here's the good part. She can't actually knit or spin now because she can't use her hands, but she loves reading about it. And my newsletter put her onto a lot of things, and someone sat by her and helped her get them up on the computer. And it was so nice to realize that you could bring knitting into someone's life that way. And just, I mean, all of us dread the day when we can't knit anymore. And she was so cheerful. She said, I can't do this, but I can, my imagination's good. I still want to hear about these things. Thank you so much. And I thought, wow, I mean, I'll write more newsletters if that helps her. And I thought,
Right.
I'm going to try to see if I can't kind of get this into the hands of people who are in extreme care. Because we have to take care of knitters of all ages, you know.
Well, I love that so much. And it is, I think, as you say, that spirit of like, you're just you're creating a collation of like the tidbits that you're gleaning from your knitter friends, the things you're reading or listening to or watching. I feel like that that ties beautifully in with something that I was hearing recently about women's health issues, and it was a podcast that I was listening to, and it was out of the UK. Very interesting. It was called 28-ish Days Later, and it was all about sort of a woman's cycle and the cycles of our lives as we go through what we go through. And there was an expert, and she was fairly high up in the, I think, UK, like National Health Services regarding women's health. And she said something like, I just loved it. Well, you know how it is with women. You tell one woman a thing that's important, and then she's going to tell like all, her women friends. She's probably going to tell her family. So that's how you really, if you want to capitalize on sort of citizen initiated, like, getting the good information out there. Of course, there's national campaigns and all of those things, but she said, you can just spread a lot of news. You just have to tell women and they tell each other. And I was like, yeah, that really lines up. But how wonderful to think about bringing that joy to someone who is so isolated.
Well, this all started with the pandemic when all of us, a lot of my friends are even older than I am, and we all stayed in our houses and were isolated. And a lot of people who summer in Castine couldn't do it that year. They could because of COVID. And so they were all over the country. And so I put this Zoom up to knit together online. It turned into, of course, we spent our time talking and trading what's going on. But the newsletter grew out of that, and it just stuck with us. The Zooms have kind of declined because everybody wants to knit in person, but the newsletter keeps going, and I'm hoping this winter it'll be better because I like it when people send me pictures of what they're working on or what they've just finished, because it seems like it's only reasonable to put our stuff up on the newsletter and brag about it a little bit.
Absolutely.
Admire it a lot. Anyway, I've been getting some replies from people on the chat. I put my email address up there, and it'd be very helpful if you could just send me an email with your email address, because otherwise I would have to copy these all down from the chat, I think. I don't think I can. Maybe I can screen snap it or something. Anyway, if you could send it to my email address, I just posted it.
Okay.
I think no, it didn't go to everyone. I'll do a new one. I'll do it right.
Thanks. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you. I don't want to dominate the conversation, but sorry.
No, it's good. It's more connections being made among knitters. We love it. Well, I wanted to hustle, and especially before last Sunday's Socktober in person at the Goat, I wanted to hustle through my heel turn. And so this is my fun fleagle heel, which is, and I've got this bottom ribbing too, but you know, where you can see that it comes to this sort of point here.
Hmm.
And I really just enjoy it because it's very sort of tidy how the ribbing lines up, which is fun. I just love it because I can turn the heel and just keep going on my tiny little needle. I don't have to get any other needles, which I find really relaxing. So I've just been cruising on the leg of this sock, and you know, it's going from lighter to darker, so that'll be sort of fun. The Lane du Nord yarn. And Jill, I think I was going to make a connection. You know, you've got the Arna and Carlos yarn. I think Mary Ellen, you shared that story about how you kind of found us at the Goat through that yarn last year, which is, I think, just a real hoot. Comes full circle.
I'm actually wearing a pair of those socks right now. I'll save you the beauty of me raising my leg up to show you my foot, but
Oh, too bad.
It's so entertaining to knit socks, not just for them. I mean, just the yarns for socks are so fun, and especially when there's really like fun dynamic stuff going on, whether that's your yarn changing or whether you've got some interesting pattern going on in your stitches. Anybody else want to give us a sock update, progress report? Actually, I want to hear from Judy. Judy, tell us.
Judy's just going to tell you. Judy's working on her needles.
I made it through the gusset.
Look at you go.
I was hoping to have it done by today, but it just didn't work out. Some other things came up.
Hold it back up again. That was too short.
Sorry.
I want to see it again. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, or this way.
Beautiful.
Just a little bit better.
You are cooking. That's great.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's going to fit. I'm a little concerned about the fit, but we'll see. I have kind of a weird foot, and I'm thinking I should have taken more stitches off, but I think it'll be okay. If it's a little bit big. This is my first sock, so I have to be understanding that. The gusset really was. I couldn't wrap my head around it, and I made a little drawing of it, and finally figured it out, that how this all went together, because it really was a challenge. The rest of the other parts not so much, but I couldn't figure out which way is this thing really going. I don't know what's wrong with me, but anyhow, I got it together, and I was so proud of myself.
Well, we're proud of you too, and I don't think there's anything wrong with you. I honestly think this is one of the biggest bugaboos people have. It's just a strange thing to read on the page and try to translate that into something that means something in real three-dimensional space.
Yeah. But anyhow, I'm looking forward to starting on the yarn the first yarn I bought for this sock, and it's like the Nordic one with it. It's a different company, but hopefully I'll have that started by next week, because I'm really curious to see if my stripes come out as nicely as, I can't remember who was doing the other Nordics or Scandinavian sock.
It's very fun.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, but and I think once you make your first sock, it's a breeze after that.
Yeah. Yep, because you've got the concept and you understand the parts. I mean, even just the word gusset, the person I was working with yesterday was like, gusset? What are we talking about here?
That's I had to look everything up and see what is that and what is something else.
Instep was another one. You know, like, well, what actually is that? I've heard the word, but what does it really mean?
Yeah. I'll
tell you a funny story of how I learned to knit. My cousin taught me as a teenager sitting on the beach. And the first project, she didn't want me to knit a scarf. It was too boring. So she taught me how to knit a sock.
Oh my word.
I just took it. That was just another way to make a knit stitch. So everything else was easy after I learned on that.
Oh my God. Did she have it out for you, Eileen? I mean, was she trying to
No,
just like
we just did a little inch by inch. I learned the stockinette and the ribbing and then the heel thing. And I learned how to trust the pattern. I just did what the pattern said. There were no YouTubes then.
That's phenomenal. I love that story. I also
Yeah.
love like just thinking about, you know, two people on a beach, like, hey, let's knit socks, you know? I mean, why not?
It was small. I could take it with me.
I'm another Judy.
Yeah, Judy. Judy, what's your last name? So that way what I can get
Gessner.
Yes,
Yeah,
Judy Judy G and Judy E, right?
Okay.
Yeah, Judy.
And
E.
I was the one who, it's my first sock in a long time. And also, I ripped it out and started again, but I'm pretty happy with where it's going now. And I'm surprised and happy I'm doing this because when I see all your yarn, I mean, I went to the yarn store and I was looking for nice soft wool, and I love alpaca to work with, so I had gotten alpaca. But when I see all your colors, I'm going to have to go back and figure out how to get very colorful with my socks. But I'm not daunted. I'm going to continue onwards, and if I have any trouble with gussets, you have wonderful YouTubes. Those are really wonderful you put up. I've been watching those a lot, so that's been good. And I love all the input from everyone. And yes, winter is full of knitting and crocheting, so and reading, so that's where we'll be.
Yep. Oh, good. Well, congratulations on getting back on the sock horse.
I got the sock course going, yes.
Yeah.
And it's really great to see everyone's socks because they're so different. I've learned a lot, and just I was amazed, like I said, I wanted alpaca. And so I didn't even think about looking at designs or anything. So that's what happened to me. But we're coming along and we're happy. The sock and I are happy.
Well, and that's what matters, right, Judy? That's what matters.
That's good. Yes. Yep.
Good for you. I love it.
My daughter said, will it
go
be
ahead.
Christmas or will it be my birthday? I said, I'm not sure. Her birthday's February, so I know I can do that at least.
Yeah, well, have fun with it too.
I'm going to have fun with it.
Good.
Yep. I'm very happy. And I'm going to put my name in for is it Down East Fiber Arts?
Yes.
Okay.
And I wrote down everybody's addresses, but if you can send me off an email, that would be perfect because I hope I didn't make a mistake in spelling.
True, that's true. Yeah.
Email addresses are tricky.
Yeah.
We had a sock workshop last winter on Zoom, and we started out with the Yankee pattern that everybody starts with, and that's a great pattern. But because a lot of people had never knitted a sock before, and that's what started it, was why not do a workshop? But then we started trying different approaches. I mean, I like magic loop because you only have to carry one needle around. But my second favorite is 2 short circular needles. That turned out to be the favorite of almost everybody. Not everybody likes magic loop, especially if you're a beginner, because it's kind of odd.
Are you using magic loop now?
Yeah. See, I'm just about to start the next row there. But one of the ones that was really oddball that we tried was we knitted a cylinder with both socks in once. We started with a provisional cast on with waste yarn and on a circular needle, and then knitted up, and we put in an afterthought heel. So it's like putting the thumb in a mitten. You just basically save it for later and knit around it and keep going. And then break the yarn and put in your waste yarn again a few rows just to keep the 2 socks separate. Keep going up this cylinder. And again, you have to put in a space for your heel to come back and put that in. And then you can knit the ribbing or the toe on the top. And then you take these apart and add the ribbing that's missing, the toe that's missing, and the 2 heels. Very, very odd way to make a sock, let me tell you. But
I'm
it was
glad
fun
I
to
didn't
try
learn
something
that one.
different. It was really fun to try it, and the consensus was that socks don't fit quite as well when you do them that way. But it was still fun to try something that was oddball like that.
An
Right.
adventure.
That's right. And so we all have all these weird socks that walk around this town.
What town is that? Are you all in the same
I live
town?
in Castine, Maine.
Okay, well, there you go.
But did I tell you, Iris, we're moving down to Rockland? So guess what's going to be my favorite yarn store?
No.
Oh my
Oh.
God.
For the
Yay.
winter. We took an apartment for the winter to try out living in Rockland. And, you know, we're at an age where we want to downsize a bit, which is, by the way, the hardest job I've ever tried to do.
Yes, it is.
Uh,
Well,
But-
Jill, I'm so excited to have you close by and to think that, you know, you could be attending some of our in-person stuff. And I think
No.
you know, Rockland is a fun town and
And I'm excited to see everybody, but I'm really excited to touch all that yarn. It's
Yay!
hard buying yarn over the internet. You sometimes are surprised.
True.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's great news. Well, I'm glad you're, and I think it's a nice way to do it, to rent something, get a feel for the area, don't have to commit. But that's great.
Well, Rockland, between Rockland, Camden, and Rockport, there's just tons of things to do in the winter, which, by the way, is definitely not true in Castine.
No.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we don't have stores, we don't have taxi cabs, we don't have Ubers, we don't have anything.
Yeah.
We do have a very small yarn store.
That's good.
Yeah, we do have a small one that's open very irregular hours.
That's frustrating. Well, let's see, Beth, do you want to give us a sock report?
Sure. I'll apologize in advance if the dogs start barking, but okay, got it. So
Ooh. Hold
yeah.
it close to the camera so we can see it.
no,
Whoops,
it's too,
on
no,
screen.
it's too close.
Too
Farther
close.
back, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Closer to your face.
there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So there's the top, now as I'm shaking around, the top has got like a color work pattern in, and then you just go into, you know, the sock, and then the toe will mirror the color work that was at the top. But I found, this dyer, I think it's Rising Tide Fiber Company. They're out of Maryland. So they tend to be at a lot of the wool festivals down around, you know, the mid-Atlantic states. And she had these little sets. The solid was like a mini, and then the other one was like a 50 gram. Because one of the things I find is that I don't do really tall socks when I knit. So when I buy the full skein, I have all this leftover, you know, yarn. So I'm I bought another, she had another real pretty color, but this one, the variegated yarn the name is Monet. And it does remind me, the colors remind me of a Monet painting. So I just, you know, slow go. I haven't had as much time to knit recently, but I try to do it on my lunch hour, and sometimes that doesn't always work. But yeah, so I'm coming along.
It's so fun to have the project that can just go with you no matter where you're going. And that's, I think, what so many of us appreciate with the sock. And I wanted to say, Mary Ellen, I think I'm going to take a leaf out of your book and potentially cast on for my next sock using your method, because I think it might be really fun to have that, to just know that I'm through with the toe part, you know, I'm on this easy breezy part, but that way I could just like get through the toe and I'd be in business for a little while. So just like to get the good ideas from you guys. So thanks for that. Do you want to give us a sock update, Mary Ellen?
Sure. I just love to have an easy part for car knitting or whatever. But anyway, I'm using the Arnie and Carlos like Jill. So
Oh,
I
look at
I
that.
did turn the heel.
Nice.
Came out fine.
Yeah.
And then this was a big, it wasn't, I didn't wind it into 2 balls when I started. And then, you know how I like to start the next. So I pulled through the middle to find the other end and wound another ball. And this, didn't have anything to know where to start the second sock.
Really?
So I did it pretty well, because when I did the first one, I did it between 2 colors, and I took a picture of where it was and where I tied the slip knot. And so I had that in my phone and I pulled that out. So it did work. They're pretty close.
Those are cool socks, Mariella.
Those are really cool. And
Yeah.
also,
Pretty
I mean,
colors.
so Jill, was your ball also missing the like center color? So maybe like there was a problem in the factory.
I don't
You
think it was,
know,
I don't know
I-
if it was supposed to have it. Some of
I
them
think
do.
that some colors have it and some colors don't.
Mhm.
And I think they just weren't consistent about that. It's a great idea. The brown ones that I knitted for my husband were easy because they had long markers for where the
Yeah.
second sock started.
Yeah.
And actually markers for the heel and the toe.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I remember that there was a long, very long patch of yellow.
Yeah.
So that started it.
Yeah.
So much so that I have a small ball of yellow sock yarn that will turn into something someday. Might be the heel of something or whatever.
Mhm.
But I'm a big follower of Arna and Carlos. I actually met them once in New York at a store, and then I took a class with them up in I think the store is Colorful Stitches in Lenox, Massachusetts. I took a class with them on knitting a hat, and they have a teddy bear that comes out looking, there's one you can do with their sock yarn, and there's one you can do, and it actually looks like a Norwegian sweater. And so when I do the one out of the sock yarn, I make sure that the arms and the legs and the ears all start with the same, so that they come together and they look. So I just finished one of the ones that looks like a Scandinavian sweater for my niece who had a little girl, and it's a pink and white bear. And then because their heads are kind of floppy, I kind of modified the neck a little bit, but I knit them a little scarf. So she wears a little scarf around her neck.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Those will be going, that will be going to Brianna, hopefully next week. We can get down to see her.
That's so cute. And I love that, like, using the sock yarn as, the self-patterning sock yarn as a fun knitted companion. That's a great, fun idea.
Yeah. Sidar
Cool.
makes another one too that looks like a what am I trying to say? Stranded knitting or whatever. My sister makes a lot of baby hats out of that.
Awesome. Well, Alice is here. Hi, Alice. You want to give us a sock update?
So, sock update is going really slow because I was successful in finishing the 3 sleeves. I don't know if I shared that with you guys or not, but I kind of put a couple of too many projects on my needles. So I had 3 sleeves to finish from last week. So I did that. I finished it. But then also I was in the middle of a Stephen West thing because our local group was doing the geo gradient. So
Nice.
yeah. So I'm almost more than halfway through on the second clue. So my little sock pattern is coming along. I don't know if you can see the pattern.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Very
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So this is actually one that I'm designing. So it's going to be coming out eventually, hopefully in December. But so the technique that I do, and I know you guys have learned a lot of stuff, but when I started teaching socks, I found people got really messed up with sort of split the heel in half and put half the stitches on the front and half the stitches on the back, and do 3 pirouettes and stand on your head. So I actually kind of came up with this plan, and I was like, you know what if we put the top on one needle and we put everything else on the back needle. And actually it worked really well for my students. And so they really asked me to write the pattern. So I texted a pattern to them last year, and then I said, right, you want it actually written up. So I am working on that now. So yeah, it's happening.
That's
it's
super.
on double points, Alice? I mean, is
No.
it on, no, magic
I'm a
loop?
I know how to do double pointed needles, but I do like my magic loop. I find I just enjoy them.
Yeah.
I enjoy them. I knit a lot, and I find sometimes if I use the smaller needles too long, I get cramping in my hands. So something about the magic loop, it works and it doesn't bother my hands, so I tend to go that route.
I'm a magic loop girl myself.
Yeah, and I think 2 needles also works really well too, but
2 circulars?
yeah. But for the most part, I magic loop. Yeah. So
Now,
slow going.
Can you use the magic loop on things other than socks? Here's a
Yes, you can use magic loop for anything that you desire that is a small circumference or a big circumference. So they're kind of magical.
So I have to go or order them or go to my yarn store.
Well, yeah, your yarn shop or the Cashmere Goat definitely has them available, but usually for the most part, I have definitely done magic loop with as small as 16-inch needles, but when I teach magic loop, I really teach 32-inch or 40-inch cable. I find that that's kind of the magic sauce.
Okay.
How about you, Iris? Is that?
Yeah, so I when I'm talking to customers in the shop, I've increasingly just brought up the point, if they're looking at needles, if they're trying to decide, what they're looking for, I'll sometimes just suggest, I'll bring up that point that, if you invest in the circulars of a certain size, it's actually the most economical option. And for some of us, it's the most ergonomical option as well. I find that a circular is so much easier on my hands and shoulders too. But so it's an interesting thing to have witnessed kind of the shift, in our lifetime, certainly towards this, it seems to be really a growing preference for folks towards the circulars. Yeah, I like a magic loop at least with the 32. I can do it with 24, but I don't like to be crunched. And it's so helpful, like on a sleeve, on a whatever. And the fact that you can be knitting a little baby sock or a full size adult sweater with the same needle is pretty liberating, I think.
And less chance of losing it, right?
Right.
So when I would go to the kids' soccer games or their play practices, it was like I just needed one needle and one ball of yarn.
Well, and before you came on, Alice, I was sharing a little bit about a newer sock knitter I was working with yesterday, and she, has knit, beautiful things in the past, but she's kind of getting into knitting, and she's jumping on with the socks and hasn't made socks before. And she was magic looping. And the one thing, and hopefully I'm sure you figured this out and it will be great to have in your pattern, but she was just a little bit, negotiating the heel gusset. Of course, we talked a lot about that before you got on, but like the heel gusset, always such a bugaboo. And with magic loop, she was just like, conceptually, it was a little bit challenging at that point for her in terms of like, okay, how do I split the needles up now? And like, what's the best way to do it? And, I was, trying to help her with that, but that's, we all agree.
I'll share it with you before it's published.
Oh, cool. I'll take a look. That'll be fun. Love to see that. Well, thank you, Alice. Thanks for that tip. And I'm excited to see your pattern for sure. So because we started this Zoom late, I'm going to hang out here until 6:15. So anybody that needs to have a hard stop at 6, please feel free to pop out. It's lovely to have you. Thanks for hanging around and hanging in there as I joined late and started us late. Bye, Alice.
Bye. I look forward to seeing you all soon. Yay. Happy knitting.
Because I see, let's see, It looks like Ofeni, did you join us? Are you there? Do you want to say hi?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm okay, just doing this order online for my kids.
Oh, what are you ordering?
Ordering them some snacks and stuff.
Okay. Yep. Kids are always in need of snacks, right?
I'm telling you.
I remember when my kids would be home for the summer, and I mean, it's great, summer vacation, but I just always ended up feeling like it was just like a nonstop snack making adventure for the mom.
Okay. And then when I'm at home and they know exactly, Ma, we know you got some snacks in here. Get y'all inside my room.
There you go. Yeah, so relatable. I forget, how old are your kids?
My oldest one that's there, she's 19 going on 20. Then I
Okay.
have a
Goodness.
16, 15, and a 22-year-old. But my oldest child out of all 13 is 32.
32.
Amazing.
He should buy his own snacks.
I know the little ones is the ones getting on my nerves.
Oh, you cut out there for a sec.
It's the youngest ones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, listen, do you have any time to knit these days? What are you knitting on? Oh, maybe she'll be back with
It's
us.
not starting. I'm just now finna cast on this tee by I don't know if y'all heard of Jessamine Design.
Oh, I
It's a
love her.
bralette long
Yeah,
sleeve top. Yeah, she
yeah.
just came out with one today.
It's Jessame, right?
It's a bralette. Yeah,
Nice.
Jessamine. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. And what's your yarn? Tell us about your yarn.
I think I'm gonna go with Ryan's yarns. I ain't really picked out then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's always good to have the next project at the ready.
Yeah.
We all get a little twitchy if we don't have the next thing ready.
Right.
My problem is I have too many next things and I want to have them all. A lot of nods
Oh,
on the
I went
screen.
on a ripping spree the other day.
Oh, what happened?
Had to clear up some needles.
Okay, yep. Yeah, I was looking for a particular bag that I know sometimes holds knitting. And I was like, now where's that red bag? Like, and then I was like, uh-oh, does it have some project somewhere in my house that I've forgotten where I put it?
Oh dear.
I be like that in this truck. I be looking around like, now I know I seen that yarn over there. Now
Right.
what is that yarn? It ain't too many places back here it can be.
Yep.
What is that yarn? I be feeling outside the bed. It don't feel.
Yeah. No, it's true. Um, well, thanks for popping on tonight. I'm glad you made it this week.
Thank you.
Nice to hear your voice. Where are you located right now? Where's the truck at?
Going to Georgia. I think I'm in Georgia.
Okay. And where were you coming? Were you heading south into Georgia or north into Georgia? Or east?
Coming from Massachusetts.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I keep hoping one day
Yeah.
you'll pull up in front of the Cashmere Goat and we can meet.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to get him. I'm gonna have to trick him. I be telling him, I gotta go over here right quick to grab something.
Just
Yeah.
it's a little further north in Massachusetts, but not too bad. Just a little
Just a
bit
couple
further.
hours.
Yeah.
How far is it from Boston?
We are in
Okay.
Camden, probably like
Four.
four and a little bit from Boston.
No,
Cause
can't be
I
that
remember
far.
one time I didn't even think he'll get me the 4 pearls in Florida. He did.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you must have a good eye on your phone. Like, show me yarn stores near me now.
Okay.
I love it.
And
Yeah.
then one time, and then it was fun, real funny how we got married. I'm sitting in the
Yeah.
front seat, and I don't know what he doing. We pulled up at the courthouse in a whole 18-wheeler. I
Love
said
it.
he wasn't playing. He was determined, huh?
Oh my gosh, I love that. That's hilarious. That's so fun. Good picture, good memory.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, I'm gonna see if Bev wants to hop on here and say hello, but it's nice to visit. Glad
Okay.
you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Bev, what's up? How are you doing?
Well, I'm sorry I'm late, but I got tied up at this dangerous place called the Cashmere Goat.
Oh.
Were
Oh,
you at the
no.
Cashmere Goat? And I was
Yeah,
not
I
today.
asked for you, and they said you weren't working, but Kristen helped me, so we got it figured out.
Oh,
So
so
we're
sorry
good
to
go.
miss you.
Well, it's okay. It just makes me think I need to come down again. Not that Kristen wasn't wonderful. Oh, I hope she's not listening. I don't want to hurt her feelings. She was wonderful. She delayed her lunch to help me.
Oh, she's like that. She'll just yeah. And we've had some very busy days. You know, we keep thinking we're gonna slow down after Indigenous Peoples Day or slow down, and so far we've just continued to have such wonderful people coming through the shop. So what were you up to today? Were you working on your Scudic? What were you doing?
Had finished the gauge swatch and got that all laundered and blocked to the best of my meager abilities. And so she helped me measure it out and figure out what size I needed, and I need to adjust the needle size. And and then she showed me the swatch she made with that new yarn. So of course I had to buy some of that yarn. And, I don't know what I'm gonna make, but that's never stopped me before.
No,
And then I got, those beautiful baskets. I had bought a white one. I bought a purple one for my sister for Christmas. So I can say I was there Christmas shopping.
There you go. That's awesome.
Did you buy any yarn for the basket?
Well, the yarn's for me. She got to fill up the basket by herself. I did get her some point protectors, and I saw you had those what do they call them? Yarn sweaters that you put on yarn. So I have two sisters that knit. So I got the sheep ones for them and the fox one for me, and depleted your stock. So
okay. Well, those are so popular. I'm glad you
that's what
grabbed
they were
some.
saying. And then she showed me all those adorable point protectors. So I did get some of those for the purple basket.
We're talking about those point protectors, the fox and pine stitches ones that I've put in some emails maybe, but they are just so stinking cute. I'll try to pull up a link and just so you can see what they look like.
I'm gonna grab my bag. Hang on 2 seconds.
Okay. They're just fun. You don't really need them, but you just kind of see them and then you want them. I'm going to put the link in the chat so you can just take a quick peek at what we're talking about. And the baskets that Bev is referencing is really fun. Local gal in Lincolnville makes these ice-dyed rope baskets. Bucket. We call them the Camden bucket. I'm going to pull up a picture of that too so you can see that. And it's a great little basket with a handle, and you can put your lunch in it. You can put a project in it. Look at that purple bag. I'm going to spotlight Bev so you can see
that's
it.
lovely. Yeah.
And she's so fun. The colors are so bright and cheerful, and she's taking. Oh, do I see Gwen with her bucket? Let's have Gwen up. Gwen, let me spotlight you for a sec. Yes, did you get the green one, Gwen?
It's the forest.
Yeah.
Something forest.
Nice.
It's got the greens and blues.
Match your socks.
Yeah.
And then Bev's showing her yarn. Let's see that now. Is that the gray, Bev?
Yes.
So that's the color that Alice made her Scudic in when she was doing the knit along with us.
Oh, it's Kristen talked me into that. That it was hard.
It's the BFL, it's the fleece BFL by
So cute.
yeah, by West Yorkshire Spinners.
And then this is one of those yarn sweaters.
Yes, so
cute.
adorable. Just kind of holds your ball of yarn kind of nice and tidy, which is great.
That's nice.
And these are the point protectors. I got cupcakes.
Oh, love it.
And my sister Nancy likes sheep. So I got the knitting
Very
sheep.
cute.
The knitting sheep.
And then Irene likes chickens.
Oh my gosh. Too cute.
We should have you as a sister. You're very nice.
Can you adopt me?
Right.
Probably. Oh, and this is the other. I got the fox one of these too.
Yes.
And I understand they're ordering more.
I know we'll order more because those things are just so they've just been flying out. And you know, sometimes with the center ball where the ball will get a little funky once it's a little loose, this is a really nice option for that issue.
So it's called a sock? No, it's called a yarn?
It's a yarn sweater. I'll put the link in the chat for you, Judy. It's we're out of them right now, but I'll definitely announce them in an email when we get them restocked. But I'll just put it in here so you can see a picture of the yarn.
Because I've always used a yarn bowl, but that's interesting.
Yep.
The
It's
sweater
neat.
is
Yeah, I was looking for something because I didn't want to take my yarn bowl on the bus trip.
right. That's what I mean. It's nice for when you're going someplace. That's a great idea.
Exactly. Or in the car.
Yes,
Mhm.
See really bad things happening.
absolutely. That yarn does fall off. Right. Yep.
So
Well, Bev, you were kind of like our own personal
Shopper.
unboxing right there. You just gave us such a fun little thrill. Yeah, now you see why it's one of the perils of working at the Goat is everything is so fun. We want everything, all of it.
And I've
Oh, one more
avoided
thing.
I've avoided going to Camden for a year. So now I
Oh
guess
my
I have to
gosh,
go there.
I
Yep.
haven't
love it, Bev.
Nice.
it holds a lot too.
It holds a lot, yeah. Oh my goodness.
I just love going there. I have put a gift certificate on my Christmas list.
Excellent. Yep. Yeah,
So
we love that. The gift
That's
that
good.
is perfect for everybody.
Mm.
so but it was fun. I'm sorry I missed you, but Kristen, like I said, was wonderful. And there was another lady and a young man working there.
Was it Tracy? Did she have glasses?
Yes, she was wearing a mask.
Yep. So that's Tracy. Tracy's one of our staffers who she's been a spinner. Unfortunately, right now her hands have given her trouble, so she's getting that looked at. But she's so knowledgeable. She's so good at helping folks pick out yarn. And one of the things about Tracy is that she doesn't like to purl. So if you are a person who doesn't like to purl, you
Oh.
could connect with Tracy about some good ideas for projects to make without purling much. Yeah. And then the young man is actually Kristen's son. He's been helping us with shipping because we've had a lot of online orders of late. So
Good.
it's
He seemed
great
very nice.
Yeah, he really is. Well, I have a dog here who is like, I'm gonna have to like show you with my camera. I might have to remove my blurred background because she's really like being a little pushy. I think she's ready for her dinner, but we're still zooming, Maud. So this is my dog, Maud. Let me see.
Oh,
Oh,
cute.
Yeah. So she's looking for me to hold her little chewy stick, and
she's giving you a look. Yeah.
oh, did you see she gave me the paw? Like she's like,
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah, you told us last week, what breed is she?
She's an Australian Labradoodle, so she has Lab, Poodle, and Spaniel. And you can kind of see she's got that coloring on her legs. And actually, Ginny, did you give us a sock report?
No, I'm doing the
Oh, you're right. You're doing your boot toppers.
boot.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
boot
Boot
toppers.
toppers.
kind of a sock.
It definitely counts.
of.
And Teresa, did you give us a sock update?
I did not. My update is that I've actually started now. I'm doing an ankle sock, so done the
Pretty
heel and
pattern.
all.
Wait,
and
hold that up a little closer. So it's like, what's going on there?
so it's got this cool
Oh.
cuff. It's like doubled over.
Yes.
And then I've done the heel already. And if you notice, if you're thinking it's matching my sweater, it's because it's the same yarn. I had some left over. And I decided, I mean, it's a sock yarn. It's a bamboo pop sock. And since I can't wear wool, I decided it was probably better than anything else I was going to find anyway, and I already had it. So, yeah. And it's my first time knitting socks. So
I
That's a
love
great-
that you just like take on this like cool pattern ankle sock with the folded over like edging, and it's like, yeah, this is my first sock, you know, whatever. It's just yeah.
What's the pattern name?
it's called Everyday Sock. It's by I don't know who.
Okay.
Awesome.
Is it on Ravelry?
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
What would we do without Ravelry?
Oh my gosh.
It's another dangerous place,
It's like the, you know, the Google of knitting.
It is
Mhm.
definitely like that.
but more
Um,
accurate.
I'm
Too
gonna-
much information.
Yeah, there's so many good ideas, and so many places for inspiration. It's fun to just tootle around. I love looking up designs that I'm thinking about, and then just sort of like looking at what other people have made and how theirs turned out, and like how I might do mine different, or the fit. And it's fun.
You
I
lose
like
a lot of
looking-
knitting time looking at it.
Yeah.
That's true. You have got to remember, keep your eyes on the knitting.
It's
Too bad we
research.
can't- It's research. I know. Too bad you can't knit and also scroll at the same time. Like that
Well.
probably won't happen, right? You know, you'll just be able to like do something with your eyes. And I've often wondered, I've often wished for a feature in YouTube where you could like do like a double blink, you know, like was it Bewitched or one of those where double blink and it would pause the video when you're in the middle of like some technique and your hands are busy and you don't want to let go of what you're doing, and you could just blink, blink, pause, or one blink for rewind 30 seconds or something.
That would be good.
Audio commands.
Audio
Right.
commands, yes.
Pause.
Pause, exactly. It will come, yeah.
I was
Well,
going to
listen,
suggest
yeah,
to
go ahead.
Judy, Judy, when you were talking about going and getting circulars, so you could do magic loop. A few years ago, my sister-in-law got my husband to buy me Knitter's Pride, a whole set of interchangeables, which is great when you're, you know, because you have your tips, and
Right,
then
then you have your,
cables,
yeah. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then that way you have all the sizes. I mean, it was an investment, but it was my birthday, and so I deserved it.
No, I've been just reading a little bit about it, so I'm gonna read and explore.
Yeah, it's
And that-
a real one of those things, again, talking to knitters in the shop, where so many times people say, if only I just bought the interchangeable set when I was a beginner knitter. But on the other hand, when you're a beginner knitter, you're like, do I really want to drop, you know, $100+ into a craft that maybe I'm not going to end up loving? But then by the time you love it, you've invested in, you know, a lot of dollars worth of those needles. And yeah, I know.
My
Yeah.
grandson just gave me the kit of crochet hooks. So
Right.
that's very nice, from the most minuscule up. So that was very nice. Yeah.
And then when
Awesome.
you do the downsizing, you have to get rid of all those straight needles.
Oh, that's true. That's,
Boxes up.
yeah.
Well, listen, I am going to have to help this very patient dog who is standing over there giving me the look, and wrap this Zoom up. Thanks again for your patience and for hanging out a little bit while I was running late at the beginning of the meeting.
I was glad it
Um,
was you, not me.
It was totally me. I just got like right before I was about ready to just like hit that play. Yeah. Anyway, great to see everybody this week, and thanks for joining us. And maybe
Maybe I'll
I'll
see you on
some of you-
Saturday.
Yep, on
Yeah.
Saturday at Rhinebeck.
That would be
and
fun.
Fun.
Have
that'll be
fun.
awesome. Thank you, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Yeah, have fun.
Take care.
Don't spend
Thank
all your
you.
money.
I have a budget. I have a budget. Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Lots of
Okay.
luck.
Bye.
In
Bye.
theory, anyway.
Yeah. Right. Bye.